Hello everyone, welcome to my Nature Diaries. Did you know that nature journaling is not just an amazing pastime or hobby, but it can also give you some really noticeable health benefits? After nature journaling for several years, I've noticed an improvement in my own life, and that's especially in the area of improved overall well-being. Before we start, let's look at the definition of well-being. Well-being is the experience of health, happiness, and prosperity. A sense of meaning or purpose and the ability to manage stress. More generally, well-being is just about feeling well. And I have to say, after a few years of nature journaling, I have found these things to be generally true. I was definitely in a bit of a creative slump before I started these nature journals, but since then, I feel so much more direction, focus, and even purpose. And that's because nature journaling is the wellness trifecta. So let's break it down into 3 parts. The first is being in nature reduces stress. And I can say I've definitely experienced this firsthand. Research has shown that spending 120 minutes or about 2 hours a week in nature improves health and well-being. There are many studies that demonstrate how spending time in nature can improve mood, lower anxiety, and improve cognition and memory. One study showed that exposure to nature can regulate the sympathetic nervous system in as little as 5 minutes. Reducing stress could mean a lower risk for chronic disease, illness, and mortality. Links to these articles will be in the description in the video. If you love nature but aren't able to enjoy getting outdoors, then there's evidence to show that even nature sounds can make a difference. Super helpful if you live in a rainy or cold climate as well. Several studies suggested that nature's sounds reduce stress hormones, boost positive mindset, and make us feel more comfortable and relaxed. Number 2, art can be a stress reducer. This is something that I feel like I have noticed as well. And the studies are talking about simplistic art or art that you feel comfortable making or creating. Not necessarily when we are learning a new art skill or technique. Keeping art simple is a great way to get the benefits. A groundbreaking 2016 study found that 75% of participants showed lower cortisol levels after just 45 minutes of art making. Again, this is about making art where you don't feel the high pressure to be perfect. That's why nature journaling is such an excellent way to create. It really can be as complex or as simplistic as you want it to be. Remember, with nature journaling, you can add art through photography, nature photography. You can also use mixed media, dried plants. It's really up to you how you'd like to create your nature journal. Multiple studies now show that creating art triggers measurable changes in brain chemistry. The process increases dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, and these are your body's natural feel-good chemicals. Recent neuroimaging studies also reveal that even brief artistic activities create lasting changes in brain connectivity patterns associated with stress resilience. Our art making can help us to be resilient to stress. I have had several comments over the last few years regarding some people who feel frustrated because they can't seem to draw or make it in art through watercolor or whatever they're seeing online. That's where I believe nature journaling is another great way to get started with art because, for one thing, nobody necessarily is going to have to look at your sketchbook. This gives us the opportunity to experiment, to explore, to have fun. We don't have to post our photos on Instagram unless we really want to. We may not always be the absolute best at something that we love to do, but that doesn't mean that we stop doing it. Because I nature journal to learn about the plants as well as art and other things, that takes some of the pressure off of me as well. I just see it as the opportunity to learn and to be able to create. To me, nature journaling is a great way to enjoy art, nature, and life itself. There is evidence that nature exposure is associated with better cognitive function like memory, attention, creativity, and even sleep quality. Not a bad package of benefits. I put the emphasis here on creativity because I think this is another great aspect to link nature and art together. I can't help but be amazed when I am outside and I see the creation around me and the beautiful design, like in these flowers. Being surrounded by all this creativity only inspires me to want to make something myself. That's when I get to bring it back to my studio if I'm not drawing outside, and I get to represent what that plant or flower was. I represent it, but I also represent it in my own style and my own way. This is the beauty of art and artistry. We get to come back to our own spaces and just relive that moment and portray it in a different style, something that is very unique to ourselves. This is so important, otherwise the joy of making art can really get stolen from us. When we're creating for this stress relief, it's important for us to just make sure we do something that we feel comfortable making. Not to look at it with a super critical eye either, but to just enjoy the time and the process. Just know this: your artistic skill doesn't matter. Whether you're a trained artist or struggle to draw stick figures, your body responds the same way to the creative process. That's why it's important to understand the act of making art is valuable. The study's lead researcher explained that art making activates the brain's reward center, while simultaneously quieting areas associated with worry and rumination. And ruminating is that act of stressful thinking. I do believe that as adults, we have a hard time maybe starting or continuing art because we think that really it belongs to children alone. Of course, this is a huge mistake because it's going to try to keep us away from all the health benefits that we can get when we do engage our creative side. For whatever reason, we don't seem to think that it's odd to maybe learn how to cook or something that is a little bit more practical, I guess, but because art doesn't seem practical, we tend to put it aside. However, even the simplest things that we do to create can be super healthy and beneficial. Please let me know in the comments, do you feel like you have this compulsion or need to create regularly? And if you do, how do you feel after you finish creating something? Adult coloring can be an effective therapy intervention for many adults with illnesses or those who are grappling with the natural aging process. Goldman says, going on to explain that coloring works motor skills. I wanted to make sure that I presented this idea of coloring as being beneficial for our well-being and health because it's something that I think we can make light of as well. Coloring amongst adults has definitely been trendy in the last so many years, but unlike a trend, we really shouldn't just let it go because the trend is over or the fad is done. I find that I listen better when I'm doing something with my hands. That's why when I was in high school, all of my folders were usually covered with all kinds of writing and doodles and drawings. On top of being stress relieving, I think that coloring is a valuable tool to learn about colors themselves and color values. Just breaking in for a quick moment to thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Always appreciate your kind comments, and please like if you enjoyed the video as well. I would appreciate it if you'd share the video if you think it'll help someone, and also follow me over at Instagram at my_nature diaries for more nature art and inspiration. And this brings us to our last point I'm trying to make, and that's number 3, the benefits of handwriting. Even though we all benefit and enjoy technology, it can sometimes be a handicap to us, especially to our well-being. Handwriting has become one of those things that it's kind of a lost art. Although there has been a fad and a resurgence amongst some younger generations, it's still not being used nearly as much as when we would have used it many years ago. We don't even have to love our handwriting for it to be valuable too. Scientists have shown that writing by hand instead of typing deepens content processing and supports emotional health. Regularly practicing handwriting may improve brain structure and function, While slower than digital, writing by hand daily may help fight cognitive decline, says Psychology Today. And this is one of the reasons that I think that nature journaling is a trifecta of well-being benefits. There have been studies also that have shown that students that handwrite their notes learn better. And it makes sense because what you're doing is you are using more senses to be able to memorize or learn something. I used to homeschool, and I would often just implement as many senses for my kids in order to help them to learn more deeply. Like taking them outdoors on a hike and discovering something through touch, and then also through sense and what they are feeling around them. There's nothing like being in nature with the sun warming your face to just help deepen the experience of the discoveries that you find around you. Of course, if you nature journal with somebody else, or maybe you are outdoors hiking with someone else, or just sitting outside, you're going to even increase those health benefits more. There's obviously lots of ways that we can help our well-being, and none of these are some kind of miracle cure. The main thing is that we go ahead and do them because we know that they have value. If you've been hesitating about starting your own nature journal or any kind of art journal for that matter, then I hope this video will help inspire you to begin one right away. Like I've said many other times, the most important thing is to get started. What you write in your nature journal or journals is up to you because it's your journal. That's why I love to call my channel my nature diaries, because I can write whatever it is I want in them. If you've been doing any kind of journaling for a while, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section on whether or not you feel like these health benefits have applied to you in any way, shape, or form. As always, remember, you're so amazing and creative. Till next time, bye.